Power of Grayskull.
Hello. This live? Do I talk now? Huh? Is that what we talk about? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Unsealed and Revealed. We have another awesome work from home edition, and I think it is about to go swimmingly.
Nobody's laughing.
I am your host, Jeff May. I'm so excited to be here. We have such a great show coming your way because with me, I have, as always, our resident sixth scale enthusiast / expert at arms, Guy Klender. Guy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very excited to show this off.
I am excited to see you show this off, as a matter of fact. Now, we also have Eternia's most magical moderator, our very own sorceress, Madison, on the ones and twos, and she'll be taking your questions, comments, and concerns throughout all the live channels that you may have. So, Madison, say hey.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, hey, how you doing?
All right.
And wait, what's that? Just a minute. Hold on. Oh, we're not done yet. I have been informed we actually have a very special guest joining us today. Sideshow's own most powerful host in the universe, the host of Get Super himself, the He-Man, the He-Myth, the He-Legend, ladies and gentlemen, Joshy G.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Or should I say, yeah. You get it. You get it.
I love it.
You better love it. I know I'm excited to be here. Now, that being said, we are going to be taking a look at the most powerfully fishy figure in the universe. This is the Mer-Man Sixth Scale by Mondo. Now, we have taken a couple of looks at some Mondo pieces in the past with the Man-at-Arms that we did on the year-end spectacular, but we're going to take a really good deep dive. What? The puns don't stop, people. Now, just like before, you're going to want to stay to the end of the show because, of course, we have our segment that we call Guess the Reveal. Only I call it that way, but you get it. Now, at the end of each show, we're going to prompt you to guess what figure we will be featuring on our next episode. Now, the first person to get it right will go home with a random pin and the figure fantasy book, so make sure to stick around for that. Now, as a reminder, the giveaway is available for U.S. residents who are 18 years or older, and that's due to international giveaway laws. Read the terms and conditions at side.show/contest. Now, as you can see, Guy is back in the studio, and he's feeling pretty awesome about it, aren't you, Guy?
I am. I've never felt so powerful.
You sure? Your voice is powerful. I like that. I like the enthusiasm. Now, of course, guys, there we have my man, super producer Sam, and producer Alan and Chris. They are all there, socially distanced, more than 6 feet away from Guy. We're doing our best to make sure that they are staying all healthy and happy, and we hope that you are as well. Now, that being said, as much as everybody loves to hear me talk, we're going to take a look at this figure. Guy, I need you to dive into this. Go for it, bud.
Let's go. All right. This is Merman. Absolutely spectacular. The artwork alone, the box art on these is really extraordinary, and I love what Mondo has done with these. We've got this, and this is a 360 wraparound on this art. And it is reminiscent of the comic art that you would see that came with each of the figures, which was pretty incredible. As far as I know, I think He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was one of the first toys to come with its own comic in the packaging. Now we're going to slide off
it might be
that upper packaging, and then you can see that they continue the artwork on the inside as well. Okay, great line artwork, and this is more based on the figure itself that you see there. And then, when you spin around, a colorized version of it.
Oh, that's gorgeous, man. That is crazy looking. You know, it that sort of vibe. You know what's funny is it kind of has a very similar sort of posing and color structure that we've seen with the Aquaman that we saw from Hot Toys. Like you notice that we have these key characters having that orange and green sort of color scheme, historically speaking, of course. And I think that it's a really fun parallel to look at.
This is some of the best box artwork I've seen in quite some time. Then on the side there, you're going to see that is our magnetic closure that's going to book open like so to reveal your figure. You're also going to have that beautiful seal on the inside as well. Prominent window display. Okay. Now on the back up here is your tab to open it up. All right, so I'm going to pull that back and then I'm going to lift the figure out, but I'm going to take that over to the overhead camera and give you a look there real quick.
We just talk about his wig. Has anybody said anything about it, Guy's wig?
That's not a wig.
Josh, this is not a wig, sir.
It looks great. And by the way, I'm sure people are wondering what that snarling noise is. It is not Battle Cat. It is not Panther. It is the one and only Matzo Ball at my feet snoring away. So if you hear snoring or what maybe some people may think is growling, it's not. It's just a big fat bulldog snoring away at our feet.
I like that we have added the Beast Cat to the show.
Or it could be, yeah. But Mondo does such a great job with their packaging. I have the Skeletor figure. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but the Skeletor figure from Mondo, very similar packaging, and it's just kind of cool. It's almost like an art piece. A lot of people, want to throw the box away for storage purposes, but it's just kind of a cool piece to even have around. That's just
this is not the kind of this is a box that I think you do display because of the artwork, whether you do it next to the figure or just separately. So you have your upper tray here, and that is going to have your figure with the alternate portrait as well, and the swap out hands.
I would love to mention too. I love that they did do the alternate portraits because we have the sort of the new sort of finalized version of Merman, the sort of more fish version of that. But they also have the classic 1982 sort of like cat face Merman that we get there, the one that they ended up reusing for Stinkor.
Stinkor, yeah.
It was Stinkor.
But that's great for those of you that go back all the way. You can have sort of the cool modern look, or you can have that classic vintage vibe that you get from it.
And I believe they did that with all of them, right?
They are doing that with all of them. Which is a really, I love that idea. Anytime that you give two portraits, I like it. And this one here having that, again, that modern take, but then going, but we know a lot of the reason you want this is nostalgia base. And then they go with that as well and pay tribute to that. So I thought
I really want to take a good look at that when we get to it, that coral sword.
The art and paintwork on these, we're going to do that in the close-up, but I do want to talk a little bit about the two trays that you have. Underneath, you are going to have a blaster, his stand, the sword and trident, as well as two of the additional feet that swap out for a more swimming style pose. Now, the stand looks flat black and smooth there. However, Mondo actually puts their logo on the bottom. It's actually, that's what the shape is the Mondo logo. This is just a snap together deal there. And then I'm going to move the figure over to the side. So, Josh, what was it about He-Man and about Skeletor that really that you fell for?
I think anybody growing up, there were a solid 3 or 4 cartoons that you watched religiously, one of them being Masters of the Universe. And I just remember at a very young age that was kind of the first set of action figures that I was able to kind of create my own story, right? Everything from, they had these amazing play sets, Castle Grayskull, Battle Cat, Panther. You were able to kind of create your own world. And I'm not saying that there weren't other toys out there that had play sets and action figures, but these to me as a young child felt larger than life, right? They were a little bit bulkier than, let's say, the Star Wars or even the G.I. Joe characters. So it was just something that you could really let your imagination run wild with it, especially at a young age. And when you had such classic characters like Merman, like Skeletor, like Beastman, something that you never really saw before, you were able to create your own story.
Yeah, shout out to Mattel for really sort of diversifying their designs and everything like that, really making it so like we got a fish guy and an air guy and a, and a space guy, and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I thought they were really fun, and the whole idea, and as you said, what made them unique was this kind of larger scale, and not only the figures but play sets and everything else. I mean, that Grayskull was huge. It's huge.
And everybody loves and or remembers that. They remember, putting the stickers on. They remember, just it's always the small things that people, especially, kids from the 80s loved about those play sets.
I remember getting Spydor, the big mechanized spider, when I was like a little kid, and then just stuffing pennies in it and breaking it immediately on Christmas. No clue why I did that. But I do have if you look, I mean, it's on the cameras on there, but I got my Dragon Walker. I have a working Dragon Walker right behind me that I can just turn on because I am in love with that concept that we did 40 years ago. We still had this working kind of vehicle that's up there. I don't know. I love them.
And speaking of love, look at Merman and just the details in that figure. I mean, look at just his shin guard.
Yeah, Sam did a really nice kind of up and down, and we're going to talk about him. This is, again, the portrait that'll come out of the box. This is kind of that new, updated, more hyper-real look in there. The paintwork in these is spectacular. That glossiness of the eye, that does have a true fish eye thing. And even, look at the little teeth in the mouth there. This is not a gumming kind of fish. This is going to go at you.
This is not a baleen animal.
No, not in the least. The cowl that's around him, again, I love this work here, that kind of coral-esque quality that loops around, up, and under.
I really like when companies like Mondo, and I think back in 2001, 2002, there was a studio called, I think it was Four Horsemen. They try to redo the Masters of the Universe line. I like when people try to give their own take, but still give nods to the original, so they don't completely overtake it. And this is just a great representation of updating a classic. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? But you're adding small little things like the teeth in Merman, or like the seashells, and
look at the barnacles on the back there.
Yeah.
Just a neat idea. Yeah, I was there when they relaunched the line, the Four Horsemen, and it was one of the wildest days at Comic-Con to see people rushing like crazy. And you did know for sure that there was still an absolute love for these characters.
Yeah, and this version of the face is more similar to that sort of reboot design.
Yes,
and then right around the same time, I know they did actually re-release the classic figures in a slightly different sort of like extra packaging in there. So you had the classic head sculpt as well that we're going to see in a second. So what we have here is Mondo laying credence to the more modernized version as well as the classic version, and that is something that I think, when we talk about fan service, we want to remind you that that's not necessarily a bad word.
No, definitely not.
Giving the fans.
Yeah, I think fan service versus pandering. Again, okay, so there you're seeing on those forearm guard, again, that kind of barnacle look, and this and the other. Again, just spectacular paintwork. Look down on the hand there, and this is just not a solid green. You can see where they've kind of done that webbing that, of course, is clinched in his fist there. But in one of the more open hands we're going to see here, you're going to see that has kind of that translucency gray. I love the belter on the side, too.
I'm just such a big Skeletor mark that I only want I know, like, such a collector at heart, that if I will collect everything. And I told myself, you know what? I'm just going to collect the Skeletor Mondo, and that is it. No. And now watching this, I'm like, son of a bee. Now I need the Merman, and now I got to go back and get He-Man, and now I got to go get Faker. Now I got to go get Man at Arms. It's just you are opening up Pandora's box, Guy and Jeff, and I wish that you weren't doing that because I wanted to be an analyst, a color broadcaster.
I'm done.
And now you guys, you've created a customer, and I want to thank you.
So for those of you that are just joining us, of course, myself, Guy, Josh, G, and Madison are taking a look at the Mondo Sixth Scale Merman piece. And Madison, I'm going to hit you up. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns from the comment sections from social media?
Excuse me, not at the moment. I think the only question I see, I think Guy will cover. It's just about articulation in the jaw.
Yes, we will. We will definitely be discussing that as well. This is just such an amazing and beautiful figure. I love the paintwork. As we move down there, you see that front?
Yeah, that really looks great.
It almost has a translucency of a fish gill in the front that's covering there. Again, more of that barnacle and shell there. Not a solid color in kind of the legs. Again, they've done that shading that we talked about. Now there you can see kind of how the joints are set up for the knee. These are a double jointed knee. Okay, the joints on these particular figures, both Man-at-Arms and this one here, and Josh, you can talk probably about Skeletor as well, is they are a nice tight fitting joint. Okay, these are not a loose joint at all. So they do hold their position. Again, I kind of like the swim trunks there.
The scales.
Now the ropes that hang down, these are they're not actual rope. They are a sculpted, but they are a softer material.
And that's cool. They're like attached to different various seashells. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the different seashells on that one. I want to say the little flat, more silver, I want to say are almost not fishing lures, but in that same kind of realm. That I think these are things that he finds and collects.
Yeah.
Merman's quite a collector as well.
He's a collector. He's a collector as well.
Look at those wads, by the way. This guy, he's watching Super.
He is. That is getting super. If I'm going to work with Josh, and if my legs get that big, I am definitely getting a large fish fin to wear in the front to go with the wig.
I just love that there was no episode in Masters of the Universe where they just showed everyone's workout routine, because everyone, for the most part, extremely jacked, minus maybe Ram Man, and it was just preposterous. Like, how did these guys get so jacked, for God's sakes?
So go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Well, I was going to say it looks like we're covering sculpt pretty well. I have a lot of personal questions about articulation, but I feel like we should get more into the sculpt if we need to.
All right.
Really.
Well, let's take a look now. We did talk about, somebody had a question about articulation. I believe they were talking about the jaw. This is sculpted. I am going to do the swap out portrait right now. So you can see that, because that's also going to allow you to see some of the sculpting that they've done in the back area of the head there too.
Look at that.
That is such a cool, like, fish head.
Even there they have, and we will be putting on the more traditional one right now. I'm going to snap that in. This is a standard peg style. Okay, you're going to put that in and give that a little pop. And Jeff, you'd like to go over articulation now, and we can if you like.
I mean, I do, just because it's, like the way the character is built. I'm wondering how it compares in articulation to some of the ones.
The other ones that we've done. All right. Well, as far as our head joint, you're going to get that ball jointed, and it is underneath there. You see that is a double jointed, so you do get a lot range of motion in both either portrait that you're going to do. Okay, that's not portrait based. It's the articulation point itself. Now let's.
That is such a great. They did such a great job of recreating.
Of going back to that one there.
I mean, I know Mattel just released an Origins line, so this is, to comparatively speak, I mean, this is a newer version, but I mean, they did such a great job of recreating that iconic action figure from the...
Joshy, hold that back up in there so you can see, like,
and
and
look at the comparison of the two.
of the classic
Yeah.
version of that. And this one, of course, we have he looks, he looks menacing even with that face.
Yeah,
That
even with that one there.
I've always found that face specifically to be an interesting choice for the expression on him, and he still looks quite menacing there. It's scarier more than it is silly that I used to kind of look at it as.
Yeah. Now, Josh.
Now, growing up, Jeff, were you, when you got the Stinkor character, did you look at it and was like, "Hey, they just repainted Merman. What's going on here?"
Yes, I did notice that, and it was actually something that I noticed with Mossman first.
Yeah, because he was Beastman, right? Or they just repainted Beastman
with a flocked Beastman, yeah. And so when Stinkor came out, I was like, "That's Merman's face," but I didn't care. Because Stinkor, the fact that they mixed patchouli oil into the toy, and so it had that kind of like stink, I was like, now that is a kind of cool thing to do with an action figure, to give it an actual smell where you're like, oh, this is kind of.
I remember Mossman smelling. I don't remember Stinkor smelling as bad as patchouli oil, but I mean, maybe that is me.
Yeah, that's literally what they did. They mixed patchouli oil into the plastic.
Did he go to a Topanga Canyon like arts festival as well?
I believe so. He did hit a music festival right after.
Bumbleshoot or whatever it's called.
Yeah, a lot of parents were very upset when the kids opened that package and they were like, "What'd you do?
What'd you do? What in the world?"
Do I have to pull over?"
Now, when Josh pulled out the original figure, you saw that it does have this pauldron. Okay, now this is a harder plastic here, and when we get that upward motion, we go to about there. I'm going to spin it around so you can see. All right. You can also see kind of
look
how,
at that tricep.
Just see how it's jointed there, that it will spin there, and you also have a rotation there. So
this is different than the kind of pauldrons that we see on, for example, like a Stormtrooper, where
Correct.
you can kind of lift it and adjust it accordingly. So
these are pretty solid in there. So do not force it there. I have removed the hand and the gauntlet, so you can see that the sculpt is done underneath there as well. I'm also going to swap out one of the hands to hold the weapons there, but I do want you to see your range of motion that you have there as well. And again, nice tight joints. You're able to...
Yeah, it's smooth. We don't, aside from seeing characters like maybe like a Hulk, we haven't necessarily seen this sort of like level of compacted muscle. So we've seen like the He-Man toys obviously are going to be a little bit bulkier. I mean, maybe in like a Thanos or a Hulk, but we haven't seen sort of like this level of musculature on these pieces really before, and it really works.
Yeah. Now, what you may or may not have heard while I've been doing it is that kind of tight and ratcheting sound, particularly in the arms there. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I always feel like I'm going to break it. When I pose Skeletor behind me, he's in a very minimal pose because I'm like, oh, I'm going to break this and I'm going to be real upset. So I'm glad that you're showing that you can actually move it, because anytime I barely move it, I'm like, oh, his arm's going to fall off.
Yeah, so and that what you're getting there is definitely something we all concern ourselves with. This is the last thing I want to do is break this thing. With those ratcheting joints, they can be a little more snug when moving, but once you have moved it, it allows to stay in there. You see that we get a lot of trunk twist in this one.
Look at that.
Okay, a good substantial amount of trunk twist. However, as far as our side bends or our front to back, we are not going to be getting that on that, and that is because his. Am I saying that? Is that latissimus dorsi? Is that Joshy G?
His lap, yes.
The lap is okay. See, well, I don't have those, so that's why I don't know their name.
Everybody has them.
Oh, mine are pizza covered.
Oh yeah, mine hurt real bad.
But anyway, because of the sculpt that you have there, you can kind of see underneath the chest piece there that it is a solid, but it does allow for the trunk twist. Since we're down there, well, take a look at that belt. Amazing. But we'll take a look at the leg joints and how those move. I did talk about the double joint on the knee. Now, you see that we do have that fin.
Yep. So you want to be careful.
Okay. Now, it really will not go further than that, but that's to give you a little heads up.
Yeah, this is important. So make the ball note, Josh, to pay attention to this because you don't want to wreck your merman.
Yes.
Did you hear? She just barked at you. She agreed with you.
Good split.
Okay, good.
There that he is able to do as well. Okay. There is...
Matzo Ball was not a fan of that pose. Matzo Ball, I get it. You should not split that.
Yeah, no merman splits. But there is a ball joint on those feet. Now, I want to real quick talk about the different hands and feet that he comes with. He does come with a different pair of feet as well. And you'll see where that peg hole is on that once I attach it, it will have more of a swimming kind of look.
That's tread watch. You did it. You did it. It's tread.
That is a tread watch. That is
a floating tread watch right there.
Boom.
That's a non-corporeal tread watch. That is a detached from the body tread watch. Now, let me see, while we have those up there, because we're taking a look at them, can you bring up the ones that are attached to the character?
Yes, exactly. So here you have attached to the figure.
Okay.
Other.
So they're all very similar.
So he's got like
right.
a
As you can
point.
see, this is more of a that is a flat foot that is going to come on the figure. All right. And you see when I would swip out, you attach
so more
in,
more
of a swimified, and then of course you're obviously going to use your stand for that, but you will be able to do that, and that you can also see is a round ball and peg style swap out on there, same that you have in the hands. Speaking of hands, I have attached one of these. Let's take a look at the close up on it. This accessory is amazing.
There, as much as I like seeing Guy
Let's do a close up on here.
Close up on there.
Boom.
There it is.
Look at the paint job.
Oh, so that's actually, it looks like, what is it, barracuda teeth or something attached to it? At first I thought it was coral, and that's what I always assumed it was as a, as a kid. I don't think I knew what coral was, but
right.
Yeah.
No, this is the jaw of something.
Yeah,
it almost kind of matches the cowl that he has, right? Whatever fish that they have used for his cowl or his headdress, it's almost kind of like the same thing, or coming from the same animal.
Now, this is also a harder plastic. This is not one that is pliable, but you wouldn't want it to be. You want it to keep its shape. I have actually put the hand on there. You can see that the way in which they peg these. The additional hands that come with the figure, and you do have 8 additional hands, all come with the peg attached. This is great. You don't need to worry as much because your change point is going to be this larger, more bulbous, and a little more stable than a tiny point. In addition to that, let's take a look at that trident.
Now, I don't remember the original coming with the trident. I think it just came with the sword, so it's really cool. He had the trident in the show. Am I right or wrong? I can't remember.
You know what? Every time I try to rewatch that show, I don't get too deep into it. If I can be 100%. Now,
there were some great writers on that show. What are you talking about, Jay?
J. Michael Straczynski, a good example.
Paul Dini, I believe he also wrote on the show, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people in comics and animation got there. Now, for those of you that are just joining us, we are taking a look at Mondo's Sixth Scale Merman from Masters of the Universe. I am joined, of course, by Guy Klender, Madison, and very, very special guest, Joshy G. And we've been talking about how much we absolutely love this piece. And I know that Joshy is probably going to get one. I'm probably going to get one. Guy's going to steal that one. Madison has 6 already. But we want one of you to get one. So how about this, Madison? Let's do a Gleam contest.
Ooh,
sounds good.
Can you post a Gleam contest? Can we give this away? Producer Alan, can we do that?
Yeah. Producer Alan says yes.
Producer Alan coming through.
He's probably like, oh God, fine, okay.
Well, you said it.
I know. I did say it. That's one of the things. It's better to ask for what is it? Better to say you're sorry than to ask for permission. Why am I bad at words right now? But if Madison, if you threw together a Gleam contest, that would rock. And let's give one of these away. I love when we get to do that, and nobody can stop us now because this is live.
And if you win it and you decide, hey, look, I want to give this to Joshy G. He deserves it. He needs, a companion piece to the Skeletor behind me. I would appreciate it. Matzo Ball's on Cameo. We'll send you a free from Matzo Ball. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
I will. I just send me your address and I'll go to your place and take it.
There's that other portrait. And because the scepter is so long, or the trident is so long, I do want to show the other end has that spiral shell done to it. Again, amazing paint work and wash. This is done in a harder plastic. It does have a bit of give. And I say that to let you know that not to be too worried when you're going to be putting it into the fists and such, that you're going to snap it.
That is really good. So it looks like, Madison, shout out to you for getting that thing together. It's side.show / Unsealed Merman. So we got that going for us. This is a great piece by Mondo. And I forgot to ask Madison if she had any questions from the viewers.
No, just everybody really loving that wig and want Guy to now wear a wig every show.
If that is what the audience demands, I guess we'll have to make that happen. Until we do like a Ming the Merciless, and then I'll just have a really nice robe. But we'll go with the bald head.
I really do love this piece, and I love that Mondo has gotten into the Sixth Scale world, and I'm so excited to see that Sideshow is working with Mondo so that we got to do this on Unsealed. I mean, a lot of people come in here and know Mondo from prints. I mean, we released that book.
Yes.
Guy, do me a favor, step aside while we get that thing. But we released that amazing book of the prints. I know a lot of people do the albums. I know they have such a long line at all the cons. So it's so nice that we get to have this Sixth Scale to take a look at from Mondo to see what they're doing with the properties.
Mondo also does a really at lapel pins. If you're a big lapel pin fan, they have a real cool collection of lapel pins.
Shout out to a friend of Sideshow, Unruly Industries designer and former guest of Sideshow, Tom Whalen, who does a lot of the Marvel head pins.
Yeah, have tons of those.
Yeah.
Right.
So take a look at that. God, it's gorgeous.
Now, I want to talk about the last couple of things that come with him. He also is going to have his underwater blaster. It's a little bit, it almost kind of has that flare gun as far as the big barrel.
Do you think he just found that? Is it like you said? It's
it looks
the ocean.
It looks
That's
pretty
a sci-fi.
I mean, can you have an underwater kiln or an underwater blacksmith? That seems like it might be tough.
If anybody can do it, it would be Merman.
It would be Merman. Now here, I wanted to show off one of the hands, and this is that kind of splayed open. This is his right hand. You will have a matching one on the left, but again, you see that webbing in between.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Now, of course, if you're going to have Merman, and I've got him with his big sword ready to go, one that Jeff and I loved is
that's right.
Boom, is Man at Arms.
Duncan. There's Duncan.
There we go. Now, again, Josh talked about that box art, and so did I. And yes, they do continue that with this one here. So we're going to have that Castle Grayskull around that wraps all the way around with this particular one. I'm going to slide that off. And again, they've gone with that line art that's in the front and a colorized.
Yeah, this is great because
line art. Whoop, there we go.
That's so cool.
This is great too because we did give this away on the year finale, the year-end spectacular. We gave it away, and we were talking about how we'd like to take a closer look at it. So I'm glad we have that. I would like you to put them, Guy, if you could, right next to each other so I can see Mer-Man's scale.
Yes. Yeah, what I'm going to
Duncan.
do is kind of move off some of their accessories and get these guys next to one another. Boom.
Oh, that is cool.
Okay, there they
And
are.
I just
absolutely right next to one another.
And I know that we talked about it earlier, but it is really cool that when these companies, in this case Mondo, have taken such classic, iconic action figures and given it their own spin, they did such an amazing job of still keeping some of the original pieces. Duncan or Man-at-Arms whole left side with the shin guard and the arm cover. They did an amazing job of paying homage, if you want to call it that, to that. Same thing with Merman and the sword, the coral sword. So they just did a great job.
Now,
Guy,
Josh,
do me a favor.
Yep.
Guy, I'm gonna step you out of the way. I'm gonna slide you over so we can see it up against that sort of like the magenta background here. We can still hear you, of course,
sure.
but just
now, Man-at-Arms, I want to talk a little bit about him. I don't know, Josh, maybe this is the first time you've seen this guy. He is actually more of a bit on the mixed media. On that right calf, on his boot, that it has the fur, that is not a sculpted, it's an actual fur piece.
Oh, that's awesome. I
that
think
is on there.
the He-Man one have that as well?
Yes. Around the loincloth area is actually kind of done in that leatherette deal that is on there as well. And you do have some leather straps that wrap around his right leg if you go and attach his small arm side blaster holster is available that you put on there as well. Also, there's a little ring that's around his mace. And I do want to move this guy out of the way. We're going to move Merman for a second. And I want to show you something. I don't know if you've seen this. This was, I don't believe, was on the original figure. Now, the same style of articulation that we talked about before is going to be done in here. Here's what I think is amazing about this mace. Not only is it just this honking piece.
yeah. Oh, that's right.
Check that out, Josh.
That's great.
The mace actually comes flying out of there, and that is a metal chain.
From Mace to Morningstar.
Exactly. The portrait that I've put on there is that classic style that they've done. Okay.
There's two portraits, right? One
There
of
are
them
two portraits with this one.
hair.
Just to show him off, I went with the classic one on here. This is the modern portrait. I'm going to have Sam do a close-up on there. He actually
There he
comes with
is.
these goggles you can put on it. So
cool.
I have put the goggles on by having him unhelmeted. They've also given you the helmet itself. And look at that inside, how they've done some amazing sculpting on the padding there, so you can have the figure hold that. I'm going to remove the goggles off there.
While he's doing that, Madison, the Gleam contest, how much time do we have on that?
We have 10 minutes left on that.
Okay, so for those of you that are just joining us, we are actually giving away the Mondo Sixth Scale Merman from Masters of the Universe. And if you check out the website that or the Gleam contest, side.show/unsealed merman, and enter that, you got 10 minutes to be entered for a chance to take this baby home. Technically, we mail it to you, but you get it. These two things, they're just so gorgeous. I am blown away, and my nostalgia, in case you couldn't tell by everybody involved here, we are mired in the nostalgia of the things we grew up in. This is what we do as a job. I mean, Joshy G's got the shirt, I got the jacket, I'm wearing a PowerCon shirt. We've got our toys right here with us. I mean,
grew
we
my
are
hair.
not. Guy finally revealed his Prince Adam / Prince Valiant
Look that I've been wanting to do for so long.
But I think if you're any fan of the 80s, and again, we talked about like a slew of cartoons, whether you were a male or a female that you grew up loving and adoring, and now that you're older and you have adult money and you want to either relive or remember the things that you loved as a child, and if you were a big Masters of the Universe fan, this is one that you want in your collection. And I, for one, tried my best to stay away from ordering all of them, but because of Guy and because of Unsealed and Revealed, I will now be putting in an order for a Mer-Man Mondo. And it better not slip through my fingers like the Adidas Reverse Retro Los Angeles Kings purple and gold hockey jersey did. I want this.
This
so
one
it
you
better
want.
still be on on the side. Yes, it's better still be on the side. Otherwise, it's going to be curses for anybody else who gets the last one.
Well, I'm glad that Guy gets the blame for you buying this, and I can walk out of here morally scot-free for having made you buy the Mer-Man Sixth Scale and maybe the Man-at-Arms.
And
as we take a look.
I get to face his wrath. That's spectacular. I'm a third of his size.
Look, I understand what this show is. It definitely did it. But if you are a collector, looking into the camera, because I know there's a ton of people out there, but there are people out there that will wake up and go straight to Target and try to get the Mattel Origins figures or the Transformers before anybody else and ruin it for everybody. So again, you know what it's like to want to collect things and want to get them. And I'm saying that this show did the good job of making me want the Merman. So congratulations.
I see you. Is that Man-at-Arms you have behind you?
I do.
Next to Merman. Look at that.
Now, this is not the original, but the Origins. Mattel released a bunch of new figures, and like I was saying before, they did a good job of recreating. Mondo did a good job of recreating all of the things that were
that are so iconic on him.
I would say that I'm happy that I always got concerned for Man-at-Arms when it would rain, because it looks like that thing would collect all the rain up there, and then he'd have a hard time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to see the Mondo piece dropped that a little bit to keep him safe and healthy.
Now you'll see, we're going to do a little close-up. There's two of the weapon pieces that are going to be on the back that he does come with, the sword and his more large blaster there. Now the sword will lift straight out if you like. But with the blaster, you are not breaking this when you do this. The back piece actually slides out to the side. Give this a little...
Now, I have a question for you. I know this is the Merman episode, but with the Man-at-Arms, wasn't there 3 portraits, or is there just 2?
Well, you have the 2 portraits, but you can really switch him up. And why you may believe in the 3 portrait is you have this portrait here, that classic with the helmet on. You have the off. Where you could have him hold the helmet, but you could also put the goggles on this guy here. So you do have a multiple of different looks you could have. I kind of dig this goggle.
The sides shaved like hipster hair is what I call it.
It's got a very steampunk vibe. Which Man-at-Arms has always brought with him to the character. I mean, that's sort of the point, is that he is sort of the weaponry guy, the science and tech guy of the, he's the genius bruiser, the big, strong, bad A that kind of comes in and he's going to be clobbering some dudes.
I like that he has a couple of scars there on the head as well.
Yeah, that's pretty rad, man.
He's had a couple of run-ins. But these are amazing figures, and I'm actually kind of proud that I was able to take Josh, who said, "I'm done with this collection. I've finished it," and I said, "Oh no, you're not, Mister," and boom, there he has it again. There's what I talked about with the piece that are going to hold the large blaster. Is this actually you slide out, and it does remove from there.
That large blaster that you said you pulled out there, it kind of has like a shotgun look to it that we saw in the original run. Yeah, so that is a Mondoized version of the sort of like the two-handed guns that we did see in that collection from the 80s. So they did sort of update it, and that looks rad as heck.
As you can see, they've done the different metallized paints to it, so it's not one big solid color. It is one solid piece, but it's not a solid color. But this is a pretty amazing. So I'm loving that Mondo has come back to do these. Mondo is doing some really great things in the 6th scale. I was able to pick up one of their first figures that was an Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was really neat. So when they announced this and then moving forward with this, I was really happy.
I'm going to ask you, Guy, to move those figures off to the side a little bit, because we are about to start our favorite part of the show, and that is Guess the Reveal. Now that Guess the Reveal.
I wanted Joshy to do it. Thank you, Joshy, for doing Guess the Reveal.
I threw it in there.
I wanted that. I was like, I want to hear Josh's version of Guess the Reveal.
Thanks. I feel great. I feel appreciated, guy. Thank you for that.
You are appreciated, Jeff Mace. We love you.
Now, being said, of course, we have a few basic rules. Now, you have to be the first person to get it right. I'm giving you permission now. Now, again, you have to be a U.S. resident, 18 years or older. You can start guessing. You have my permission to do so. We will announce the winner's name as soon as Madison sees that someone has gotten it correct. This will be the piece that we will be looking at next week. And as you can see, producer Alan is masked up and dropping off. It's under the velvet curtain right there. So Madison is paying attention to all of the feeds simultaneously. The first person to guess will be the correct winner of the Figure Fantasy book, as well as a random Sideshow pin. And of course, not only are we giving that away, but we will in a little bit be announcing the winner of the Gleam giveaway. So there is a theory that somebody might win two things at the same time.
Now,
Could you imagine?
My question, Jeff, has anybody not guessed the reveal?
We've had to drop some hints.
Yeah,
Okay.
last
Okay,
week I think we had to kind of drop hints because this, Mondo is a newer line for us to do on the show, so I don't think people were expecting us to do it. Joshy, until Madison tells us we have a winner, I know Skeletor is probably your end-all be-all as far as favorite.
Yes.
But what was the first He-Man figure you purchased as a kid?
It was gifted to me, but I believe it was actually He-Man himself.
He-Man himself.
I think He-Man was my first figure. I remember having Beast Man, and I remember having Castle Grayskull. So I think the love for Skeletor came later, as well as the Filmation cartoon. I mean, who does not love Skeletor? He always got beat, which really grinded my gears. Yeah. But he was.
Skeletor has really maintained that meme popularity that I think is really good. For
I think that's fine. I think even though the show was He-Man and was Masters of the Universe, I think Skeletor was equally, if not slightly more loved, shall we say, more popular.
We have a winner.
We have a winner.
Who do we? Who's
Sorry,
our winner?
We've had a winner for a little while. I just didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Oh my goodness.
You had fun.
Always interrupt us.
Okay.
They guessed it? Because I haven't seen it yet.
We do have a winner, Sean Mormon on YouTube.
And he guessed Guy. Get ready to pull it.
Sean, so far you know, and Alan knows, but I have no idea. So, okay, we're going to find out.
Ready, and...
Oh, yes!
Oh, we have... Is that the Heavy Mando?
The Heavy Mando. The Heavy Mando. The Jon Favreau in costume figure.
I believe Jon Favreau was the voice guy. Sorry to correct you. And that is Tate Fletcher, who was a guest on Get Super. If you want to listen to that interview, it's great. Yeah,
that's
Tate
right.
Fletcher in the suit. And that is a really cool figure. I'm super pumped for that one.
I love that they're doing this one. I have a feeling we were going to see these guys again. We saw them in season 1, but I have a feeling we're going to get to see these guys pop up again.
Now,
and I love the look of this one.
Congratulations to you, Sean, for guessing that it is the Heavy Mando. We will be taking a look at that on the next episode of Unsealed and Revealed. Now, we've got about 2 minutes before we announce the Gleam contest winner. So I will say real quick, because I know you asked Joshy, but I'm going to tell you a quick little fun story.
I want to know what's yours. I figured that was your first.
Now, this is my guy right here. Now, Clawful, the reason I love Clawful so much is because when I was 3 years old, my brother and I got Easter baskets from our parents that were not labeled. One of them had Clawful, of course, and the other one had Tila, who was the girl. It is not a problem, of course, but as a 3-year-old, I wasn't interested. We got into a fight. My brother stabbed me with a pen. Now,
wow.
And that is what we like to call in the wrestling world a win by DQ. I got Clawful by disqualification. I won this piece, and I have been obsessed with this guy. I have a Clawful collection. I've got the Funko Pops. I've got original artwork. I have all the different releases of the character. I am obsessed with Clawful, and of course, as a boy from New England, who wouldn't want the Lobster Man? That is just that screams to my aesthetic so much. But I did. I won. Clawful's my favorite hero character because I got a tattoo I got a pen tab tattoo. I still have a little dot tattoo on the back of my
My goodness.
Here.
Well, this is my appeal to Mondo. If you're listening, please make a 6 scale clawful for my man.
We
Jeff May.
need a clawful. We really do.
I need a clawful.
We need a clawful. And one thing that I like, I was going to much time. This is something that I do on my show, Get Super with Josh and G. So I'll ask Jeff, Guy, you can give me your answer. Madison, you as well. If there was a WrestleMania, pop culture WrestleMania, a fatal 4-way in the main event, you have Merman versus the Creature of the Black Lagoon versus Aquaman versus Namor, who is going to win and why? Jeff, may I go to you first?
Aquaman, because he's the most powerful of those characters.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's just that the answer is Aquaman. And then
does Aquaman have a coral sword? The answer is no, Jeff.
Probably.
Maybe he doesn't. You don't know that for fact. Guy, what is your answer?
Well, according to with the figures, we got both characters do have a trident, so that would be an incredible trident battle I'd like to see between the two of them. I don't want to be as cryptic and quick as Jeff. I think Aquaman, being kind of the aquatic god, may have an up on him. And I think Merman does maintain a little bit more of an actual fish quality to him. And it is very possible that Aquaman can use that in order to somewhat control Merman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that. That's
All
a great.
right.
Hey.
Madison, who's winning that fatal 4? The Creature of the Black Lagoon and
I would have to actually say Aquaman as well. I think he's got probably the upper advantage on those guys.
No, Madison, while we have you here, this is just out of my own curiosity. Do we have a Gleam winner for this piece yet?
We do.
Get the H out of here. If
Joshua G from Venice Beach, California.
Exactly.
Well, look at that.
If it's Sean, I will explode.
It is not.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
Sorry, but we do have a winner, Dave Fazio.
Dave, congratulations, Dave. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Congratulations. Now, make sure to claim your prize that you're going to email social@sideshow.com within the next 48 hours, telling your name, your phone number, your full mailing address, the prize you won. You know what? Throw your social security number in there, last 4 digits. No, don't do that. We don't want it.
No.
And the prize that you won and where you won it, Dave. And we'll be in contact with you from there to get your prize shipped to you. Now, lady and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I am very excited that we got to spend some time with this Mondo piece, correct?
I love spending it with the Mondo piece, but I love spending it with the three of you. This has been great. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This has been great, guys.
Before we sign off, because I have my outro to do first, but I think producer Alan has told me he wants to get something going real quick before we go. So real quick, we'll be right back. But first, producer Alan is saying that we have something to show. So let's go for it.
Let's see.
In today's story, the Aquaticans were afraid to trust us because we looked different from them. Merman talked them into thinking we were their enemies, and it almost caused great harm. You should never judge a person by the way he looks, but rather by the way he behaves.
Because it's what's inside a person that really counts, right?
Porco, you're absolutely right.
I always am.
Here we go. All right. Now, that being said, if you're interested in any of our giveaways, you need to follow us on social, and you can keep up with our weekly giveaways. So make sure you check out spots like @CollectSideshow on Twitter and @Sideshow Collectibles on Instagram. Now, make sure tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you tune into the Comics Hall with Amy and Paul, one of my favorite shows. I love that they wrap up and talk about all the great stuff going on in comics at the time. Now, thanks for hanging out with us. Of course, you know that we're a Tuesday show, and we will be back to take a look at that heavy Mando from excuse me, just choked a little bit. The heavy Mando from Hot Toys that we'll be taking a look at on Tuesday at 10. Of course, we've got lots of great shows, podcasts coming your way. We'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, thank you all for watching. Remember, we don't have a show without you. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Joshy G. Thank you, Madison. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye.
Bye.